Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to do a video on the side stand switch on the XR. I find I haven't had any issues with it, but it seems to be pretty rugged. And I get the light on. You know, it's pretty safe. I mean, I guess if you're doing tons of off-road riding, you wouldn't use that. You wouldn't even want that. But with all the city riding I'm doing, you know, when you're on and off the bike, side stand switch is actually safer on this bike. I would think you would want to use it, but I noticed on my KLR, like after the second winter, that thing just busted. And I knew something was wrong because I started the bike fine, and then as soon as I put it in gear, it just stalled right out. Now, the side stand switch on this should not, it does not shut off the bike unless you're in gear, which is same thing as the KLR. But I noticed this one seems a little bit more robust. It has like a metal plate around the side stand switch, whereas the one on the KLR is plastic. And then this switch has like completely waterproof on the XR. So I would say, and then I don't know if there is a, there must be a switch here on the clutch perch, you know, that actuates also. I think I didn't actually see one here though. Maybe not. Maybe there isn't. Yeah, there isn't. I guess it does it internally on the engine when it knows you go in gear and the stand is down, it shuts off the bike. Well, I would say if you do city riding and you're on and off the bike a lot, and like you might be like super trained to handle shit, but I mean, most riders always put their kickstand up, but you never know that one time that somebody talks to you in the middle of your routine, you know, when you get on the bike, and you could have like a cop interrupting you or something, you know, somebody coming up to you and throw you off balance of what you normally do, and all of a sudden you're taking off with your stand down. taking off with your side stand down would totally suck. I mean, I actually did it on a bike a long time ago that didn't have didn't have sides, and it was the same thing. Somebody threw me off. I was on a an old XT. I was on a whole old Yamaha XT, and took off with the side stand down. There was a side stand disabled on it, and I went out. I was leaving. I was in California. I was leaving in Albertson, and I just turned left and bam, laid it out on the ground. But I would have to say, based on this side stand switch, you can see the side stand switch here is metal plated. Pretty good construction. And it comes on the light when it's the way it's supposed to. It works exactly as it's supposed to. You know, there's no problem, and it doesn't get affected adversely by weather, from what I've seen. But the KLR one roached on me after the second winter, and it roached at the worst time, dude. It was freezing cold, and I was leaving Harlem, and the bike just kept shutting off. But I knew right away it was the side stand switch, because it was doing the same regardless of what position the switch was in. I mean the kickstand was in. So I knew there was something wrong. But basically, this one has never given me any trouble at all. I mean, no issue. And it looks like the construction on it looks really strong. The one thing that did happen to me was when a car like backed into my bike and knocked it over. Some idiot fucking parking smashed into the bike and then knocked it over. And then he bent the kickstand, because he hit the bike pretty hard. And I had to get I used a pipe bender to bend it back again. But I knew something was wrong with the bike, because the bike, when I'd park it, it was like ready to fall over everywhere I was, no matter how level. On level ground, even a hill going down, going in the other direction, the bike was ready to fall over. So I knew, all right, my kickstand's bent. And it was no guesswork involved. I knew exactly what was wrong, because anytime you have a car hit your bike and then the next day you realize, oh, and the fucking dickhead that hit it did not leave a note or anything. Just took off. He just knocked that shit over, and I was like, fuck. But he messed up the kickstand pretty bad. I mean, I don't think you could bend that more than once, you know, because it would weaken the steel. I bent it in the direction I needed. But it took a fucking, I mean, I was basically lifting up the whole bike against the wall. So, you know, I mean, I would not want to do that more than one time, actually. Just replace the kickstand at that. But if the bracket that the kickstand's mounted to, if the frame itself gets bent, then you're looking at something more serious. Like, you're gonna have to beat the shit out of that to try to get it back to where it should be. And you can really only do that one time, because steel steel is somewhat forgiving, but hardened steel, like what a frame is made from, it's not really meant to be bent back and forth. But shit happens, you know. That's why you don't want to have a bike here in New York. You don't want to have a freaking $20,000 bike. That's why I was talking before about riding on things like KLRs. KLRs are perfect for New York. It's Rebel 300. Just doesn't have any carrying capacity, but that's a good bike too. The smaller CC, smaller displacement bikes are great in the city. Like a 250, perfect. Put a nice exhaust on it, you'll be really happy with it. You'll be real happy with the sound and performance and everything. Ninjas are real popular here. Good bikes. I much more prefer an Enduro because of the road conditions. Because inevitably, if you're riding around on a Ninja in New York, you're gonna have forks, blowing fork seals. You know, the bullshit stuff that happens. But in the beginning part of the life of the bike, you'll be fine.